What is up, everybody? I am Two-Tone the Artist.
And I am Mitch the Peach.
And we are your lovely co-hosts of the Hills Are Silent podcast, where we like to chop it up about the games of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's been a good week. The holidays are coming up. I'm still super psyched about hanging out with Mitch in person in our hometown and playing some GameCube games for some good old nostalgia's sake. Mentioned this before on a previous episode, but we'll be meeting up for the holidays at Mitch's dad's house, and we will be playing video games in his dad's basement, just like we did way back when we were wee lads. All right, man, we got some good stuff to cover this episode. A lot of interesting stuff in the news. But before I dive into that, wanted to talk about what I've been playing recently. Mitch, just to double check, you don't have anything you're ready to talk about this episode?
No, I'm in between like 3 or 4 games that I'm playing, and I just can't decide which one to fully commit to and complete. So yeah, take it away.
Got it. All right, so for me, this is a more, well, I guess casual is not the right term to use. More of a short game, because it definitely was a difficult game. But that is Metal Slug 3. For those who don't know, the Metal Slug series is a long-running series of games that started out on the arcades, and they are developed and published by SNK. They were also on old Neo Geo hardware, and then they've been ported to pretty much every console imaginable. So even though they're old arcade games, you can find these everywhere, man. Switch, PlayStation, all the PlayStations, all the Xboxes, like even going back to like PS2 and OG Xbox, you can get these games. I personally played this game on my amazing PlayStation Vita. It is a great handheld game. Really, any arcade game is a great handheld game because it's that quick jumping right into the action. Anyway, that's what I needed. I needed something to play on the go, and Metal Slug 3 was what I dove into on my Vita. So as I mentioned before, this is an arcade game. It's actually a cooperative arcade game, but I was just playing the campaign and solo. And dude, these games are brutal. A lot of old arcade games were designed to just steal your quarters. And this is definitely like the definition of that. This game only takes about an hour to beat, but it is non-stop action, just never lets up, and I must have died like 1,000 times in that hour. I could not imagine playing this back in the year 2000 in the arcades. Like, I would have had to have spent like $200, no lie, to finish this game in the arcade. Especially some of the boss fights, it's just like death, 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 death. It's crazy,
$200 for a 1-hour experience. It seems pretty worth it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but it is designed to kill you every single step of the way. So Metal Slug is a side-scrolling run-and-gun shooter, and it's tons of fun. It has this really, really nice art style. Everything is very cartoony and kind of wiggly, and just a lot of effort went into the animation. So you're essentially a soldier, and you're just sent into the battlefield to just wipe out the enemy and rescue all the prisoners of war you can. And when you do rescue a prisoner of war, they typically give you a power-up, like a different gun or something. So it has all the tropes of just classic run-and-gun games. I mean, to me, this is like the de facto run-and-gun game. When somebody says that, I think of Metal Slug or Gunstar Heroes, which is an amazing game on the Sega Genesis that someday I need to go back and play through again. But anyway, this game gets weird fast. It starts out with you just killing soldiers, and then quickly there's like zombies and aliens and all kinds of real creepy body horror. And it just comes out of nowhere with like no explanation. Like, you're fighting guys, next thing you know, there's zombies. Next thing you know, you and the bad guys are getting sucked up into an alien spaceship, and then there's these weird creatures, or there's so much variation in just this 1 hour, and it's kind of overwhelming. And it's just, I don't know, the creative, artistic minds of the people that design this, man, it is far out. I don't really know how many people worked on this game. I would really like to know that, if it's just like a handful of people or if it was a massive team. But if it was just a handful of people, that's even more impressive. But yeah, it's incredible for its art and animation. So yeah, I highly recommend it. You can get it everywhere. Like I mentioned, just expect it to be brutally difficult, and it's probably way better in co-op, but I did beat it by myself. So Mitch, have you played any of the Metal Slug games?
No, actually, but during our episode where we were checking my Steam wish list and your Steam wish list, Metal Slug Tactics is a game that was teased, I think at this point, like multiple years ago. And I just looked at my wish list again just to see if there's a release date, and there's still not a release date. You know how much I like tactics games, and I really like the art style of Metal Slug. I'm very familiar with it, and so it seemed like a really good fit for me to play it. But yeah, looking at the Steam wish list on here, it's still just showing a coming soon, which
it's pretty vague. Who knows if that'll ever actually get released?
Yeah, actually it says to be announced, so not even a coming soon.
It's interesting they're taking it into the tactics genre, since it's just known to be a run and gun game. As far as I know, it's always just been run and gun games. I don't know of any other like spin-off into any other genres.
Yeah, that's my understanding too.
Yeah. But yeah, cool game to pick up and play and then just knock out in basically one sitting.
You've really gotten, your money's worth with that Vita. You have put in the time in with beating a lot of games on that Vita, and it's gotten you, out of the country too, and back, and I always say it. I need to give you one because it just seems like you there's a lot of games at your disposal with that.
Yeah, really. I mean, the beauty of it is it's so small. The Switch, yes, it's portable, but it's bigger. You can't just fit it in your pocket. The Vita, man, I can just slip that thing in my pocket and anywhere I go. If I'm just sitting there, I'm like, all right, man, I've been sitting here for a couple of minutes, kind of bored. Just slip it out and immediately jump into a game. And since I got my modded, I got tons of old arcade games on it. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, original Nintendo, TurboGrafx, PlayStation 1 games, and then just everything that was actually released for the Vita, not just emulation of other consoles as well. So yeah, just as one little handheld and one little memory card, I got like thousands of games on it. So it's perfect to just have on the go and then just jump into something when I'm sitting waiting in line at the DMV or wherever I may be, on vacation, on the plane. It's just, I mean, I know there's so much mobile gaming on cell phones now, which really will scratch that itch if you just need to play a game somewhere, but there's nothing like having a dedicated handheld game with like dual joysticks and just full controller. It's just great, man.
Absolutely.
Just have to make sure I never drop it or break it or anything.
Yeah, they need like one of those like a rubber, or, I don't know, like case for it or like protector around it so that if you drop it, it's it's protected.
Yeah. All right, well, that's what I had on what I've been playing lately. I've been super busy, so sometimes I just got to get a quick gaming fix.
Yeah.
You brought up something in the news that I am totally out of the loop of. Believe it or not, I never played Fortnite a day in my life. I think I watched some people play it maybe once or twice, so this was not even on my radar. What's going on in this foreign world of Fortnite?
Aside from them partnering with probably every property known to man, they recently just brought Family Guy into Fortnite, so you can play as Peter in Fortnite, which is kind of wild. You can play as John Wick. You can
that's cool.
Play as Deadpool. You can play. There's so many properties and that they have partnered with to get into Fortnite. But aside from that and how cool that is, I actually dove in last season because they brought back they call it OG Fortnite, the very first map when they first launched the game. And I dove back in and bought me a skin as well because they partnered with an anime that I really like, My Hero Academia. So I ended up purchasing one of the characters off there. So I couldn't get away from it. But
when was the first time you played Fortnite? Like,
I played Fortnite at launch, like basically like right when they announced the Battle Royale, and even when it originally wasn't a Battle Royale, it was called Fortnite Saves the World, and it was more a, I think, tower defense type deal. Um, but yeah, then they turned it into, they made them, the full game. They kind of abandoned the Saves the World portion and just made it Fortnite Battle Royale. And I started very early on in its life cycle. But yeah, since then it's come a very, very, very long way, and now they're kind of diving into something that I think is very interesting and kind of clever on their part. They're keeping the Fortnite name, but they're adding a few games within the game. So this is like game inception almost, is where you can boot up Fortnite, but you can play multiple games that really emulates, or they really are similar to games that we've played through either throughout our childhood or stuff that I'm very passionate about still to this day. So the first one is called Rocket Racing, and Rocket Racing, as if people don't know, they acquired the developer of Rocket League, so they can use the assets from Rocket League and put them into Fortnite. They've already put some of like just the cars in Fortnite that you can like actually drive around and use within the Battle Royale game, which was kind of cool during one season. But this time they've actually booted up an entire game which is just called Rocket Racing, and it looks just like, the logo looks just like Rocket League, but they're calling it Rocket Racing, where it's really just a fast-paced, intense intense racing competition, where it looks like it's just a simple, they give you some tracks and you're racing against other people. You have ways you can trigger boost, you can avoid obstacles, and then you can kind of collide with other cars and wreck them as well. So I have actually not played this yet. I'm gonna give it a try at some point, but as it stands right now to download Fortnite, it has gotten pretty beefy.
I was just about to ask you that. I was just about to be like, is Fortnite some insane thing like Call of Duty where it's 150 gigabyte download because there's so much to it?
I think at this point it probably is. I feel like it was a pretty beefy game before they even added any of this. So I'm gonna guess, I will report back, but I'm gonna guess it's definitely above 100 gigs. So, and that's precious space on my hard drive. I've got a Series X, which doesn't really give you the freedom to put your own external hard drive to attach to it. You have to actually use the hard, like maybe I think there's only 2 in existence right now that are compatible with the Series X or S. So the hard drive space for me, that's prime real estate. I can't just be letting anything on there. So yeah, the Rocket Racing I have not played. I have watched some streamers play it, and it seems like it's a good try for them looking to do something different. But I'm not sure this is going to stick as far as and I'm not sure if this is going to be a permanent thing or this is only going to be a season 5 thing. 'Cause it really seems like they're doing all of this as maybe a test run, and then maybe they'll keep some stuff around if it sticks. But interesting to note, so Rocket Racing is the first one that is their competition of a racer. Their next one is called Fortnite Festival, and Mike and I have talked many times about Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and this is a basically clone of that. And again, at least Fortnite is using the assets that they acquired. They acquired Harmonix. If people don't know, Harmonix are the people that developed Rock Bands. So they've kind of used those assets, and they've created I guess a music rhythm game, and they've partnered with some popular artists. They kind of debuted it with Eminem, doing "Lose Yourself" with it, and I see The Weeknd is on it as well. And reading the reviews, though, also I've not played this, but I'm going to dive in and play all these games eventually, because I'm just curious as to how they run. But according to IGN, who is a pretty reputable source, I don't always take what they say to heart, but reputable nonetheless. basically, they put it plainly, Fortnite Festival is not Rock Band 5. So, I mean, it does seem like they're kind of tailoring toward more of the more hip hop than I guess like the cool, throwback rock or it seems like they're kind of trying to take a different direction with it as far as like doing the beat to lose yourself more than, doing the beat to a to an AC/DC song or something like that. But I believe, from my understanding, is you can actually use your peripherals that are compatible with like this type of rhythm game. I thought I saw somebody. I'll need to go back and look at it as well. Don't want to be wrong, but I thought I saw someone streaming was actually using one of like the Rock Band or Guitar Hero guitars and doing this game. So I think it'd be interesting to see if that's actually something that can happen. Because that would be a really good use, like a really good 2023 game use of those old peripherals. Because I want to say people were also like maybe like, oh, are they going to bring some new peripherals into the gaming world? Which no, they won't. I feel like those have kind of sailed ship, and I don't see people or companies investing in making new musical equipment for these games. What do you think?
Yeah, so just a quick search. I do see a YouTube video of somebody playing it with a PS3 guitar, but it's this whole setup process where they're using like an Arduino microcomputer, and it's not just like a plug and play thing. Like they had to pretty much hack it in to be able to use the guitar on it. However, I did find an article that says, although instrument support is not yet available in Fortnite Festival, Epic Games has prioritized its implementation in 2024. So, yeah, it's just kind of weird because it does look exactly like Guitar Hero. And even though you said it's mainly geared towards hip-hop, at least so far, at least it sounds that way, the trailer is just showing guitars, keyboards, drums. They're really emphasizing the guitar. So it is kind of odd that they released a rhythm game with no peripheral, because technically you can play Guitar Hero and Rock Band with a regular controller, but to me that kind of like completely defeats the purpose. Like it's most of the immersion is you playing like a fake guitar or keyboard or drum set.
So they usually have some grand event when they transition from one chapter to another chapter of their game. And so they basically, before they announced that this is going to be a staple within Fortnite, they did a Fortnite party or whatever, or festival, and they had Eminem perform at this festival. And they've done it multiple times with other artists. They've done it with who else have they done it with? Names are escaping me.
Didn't they do it with Travis Scott?
They did it with Travis Scott, and they did it with Marshmello, the DJ. So yeah, they've done it a couple times, and they did it most recently with Eminem. But during that performance is when they debuted this Rock Band style, thing, and people didn't know like, oh, is this just like a gimmick for this like party, or is this like a thing? And it turned out to be a thing. But people weren't expecting it, so nobody's got the guitar hooked up trying to do stuff. It's just people using it on their keyboards or their controllers, which I agree is not really the way I want to play these games. So I'm glad that they are at least trying to implement some sort of support.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice if you could access some of these new games outside of Fortnite. Like, let's say I just wanted to download Rocket Racing, or I just wanted to download Fortnite Festival or something. I wonder if there's a way you can do that, so I don't have to download 150 gigs just to check out Fortnite Festival.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that. I agree. I feel like they should really split it out at some point. So yeah, we'll see. Moving on though, the third one that is out currently, actually, I guess, is kind of a home run for them. So they partnered with Lego, which I mean, when you partner with Lego with anything, it's probably going to work because people love Lego. If you are a child or if you are a adult, you love Lego. I have friends still to this day that's like find like newer Lego kits and still put those things together. Like they've got the Infinity Gauntlet from Avengers that they put together recently. Some of my friends, so yeah, it appeals to the masses. But Lego Fortnite is kind of, from my understanding, a Minecraft competitor, which makes a ton of sense. Like with using Lego, it's very similar to what you do in Minecraft of assembling things. But from everything that I've seen with that, it's people are having a lot of fun with it, building up like massive bases and really and even like doing like a Rust style thing of like building a base and then going to somebody else's base and just completely destroying everything that they put together. So from everything that I've seen, that this is the one that I think will probably stick longer than the other ones. But I mean, also like, man, Epic Games has a lot of money, don't they? Like they could partner with all these people. Like I feel like them having like being able to partner with Lego and use Lego assets for all this, that can't be cheap, right? Like
Yeah, although I think that's a mutual relationship because
yeah,
Fortnite is massive. And
that's a
that's
good point
literally
too.
Lego tapping into tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of kids.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point because Lego's no stranger to partnering with stuff anyway. Like they always have a portion of some of those Forza Horizon games. There's usually DLC for Lego and that's pretty fun. Um,
Yeah, because think about it. You're a kid who plays Fortnite, you play this Lego mode, then you go to Walmart and then you walk by the Lego section. You go, oh, Lego, I know that. And then all of a sudden you want to buy that stuff.
yeah, I'm reading more and more about this, and yeah, it definitely makes me feel. While it is more of probably a competitor to Minecraft. It's also very much like those, I guess, survival games like The Forest or Rust or stuff like that. So there's very much a lot of those elements within this, like of fighting and cooking to starve off hunger, avoiding temperatures that get too hot or too cold, making survival tools like axes and pickaxes, and then defending yourself against monsters while you're also trying to build yourself up and create these massive homes or structures to keep you going.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet this mode's pretty fun.
Yeah, reading more and more, this is pretty intriguing to me because I'm a big fan of Rust, and Rust is very much that similar thing, is where you jump into a world that's populated with a bunch of people or a server of some sort, and you start from the bottom as a naked man, and then you build your way up to having a huge concrete castle that's, well, you're buffed up with AK-47s and trying to defend your home. So yeah, I could definitely see myself into this. And I mean, props to Epic Games for taking some swings on some different stuff. I really always wondered what they were doing with some of the properties they acquired, like Harmonix. And a lot of people thought the same thing. Like, I understand that they did these like musical festival things, but I don't know if like it didn't really have any sort of Harmonix like spin on it. I think those people did work on these festivals, but those transitional festivals from seasons only happened like once a quarter, if that. So it wasn't even like, it's not something that happens very often. Sometimes they don't happen like once every half a year. So it's cool that they're actually taking a swing and putting a concrete game together using assets from Harmonix and some of the old Harmonix people that worked there, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, really, all these add-ons sound pretty awesome. The rocket racing one, the trailer for that looked really cool because you're racing, but you're flying around and driving on the walls and switching and driving on the ceiling. That's pretty neat. I've seen that in other games like Grip, but it's just cool to have like a full. you can go wherever with your car. You're not just bound by the laws of gravity. But yeah, they're really branching out. All this stuff looks really fun. The Fortnite festival, the trailer there was not a lot to it and not a lot of showing the actual gameplay. That one I'm more curious to see how fleshed out that is, because the Lego Fortnite and the Rocket Racing look like they're pretty full-featured games. So I'd be interested to see about the Fortnite festival. As far as them acquiring Harmonix, Harmonix has been in the rhythm game for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, I think their first game was maybe the year 2000 or 2001, and all these games with software. Even if you go across different generations of consoles, it's all the same core technology. So Harmonix, they have that core technology that they've probably been refining and building upon and iterating upon since the year 2000. So if anybody's going to do any type of musical game, they're the ones that have the most mature technology to make that happen. And you're right, it was like, what was the motivation for Epic to acquire Harmonix unless they were going to utilize it?
Right.
So
I do want
go ahead.
I do want to read IGN's, I guess, like verdict. They gave it a 4 out of 10, just the Fortnite Festival portion. And they go, Fortnite Festival's limited, isolating gameplay and overpriced tracks may turn Fortnite players into rhythm game fans, but it won't turn rhythm game fans into Fortnite players.
You said it gave it a 4 out of 10?
Yeah, 4 out of 10.
Dang.
The overpriced tracks portion kind of makes me pause. Like, I'm wondering, like, if this is not like just a game like Rock Band where you go in and you have a list of songs. I'm really hoping it's not something that you have to purchase,
Yeah.
a lot of the songs that you want to actually, they may give you a couple that you can do for free, but I really hope it's not like the Fortnite store where, instead of buying like a cosmetic or a skin of Peter Griffin, you're buying songs that you can play in the festival, which is, I don't know. I don't like that kind of model.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough because it's basically like starting all over from scratch and trying to rebuild a Rock Band game or a Guitar Hero game. So with no peripheral to really sell it, like it does seem like a hard sell. So let's see if they can build it into something great like the older games were.
I wonder if that's why they leaned into the hip hop R&B portion of it, because the rappers and the R&B artists usually aren't holding any sort of peripheral.
Yeah, I think that's probably the weakest link, which is unfortunate because given the right attention, that probably could have been a huge game within it. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't played it yet.
I haven't either. Just quickly tie a bow on it. There are rumors that they may be doing some sort of sports game mode. In their I guess their season 5 reveal trailer, it did show some NBA team logos in the trailer if you slowed it down. So people think that maybe they're gonna take a swing at some sports modes, which honestly, for me, I want them to do this just for the sure fact that it makes developers of other sports games, I guess, do something different than just releasing the same game over and over again like they've been doing for how many years now. And then, basically all that they've added to it is just completely jam-pack it with microtransactions that, while they're optional, they really provide an unfair advantage in some of the games that I play.
All right, man. Next up, so Hideo Kojima, a very, very famous game designer, is working on his next game called OD, which the trailer was revealed, what was it, like a week or two ago?
Yeah, it was a week ago, and it was a very short, non-revealing trailer.
Yeah, I think it was just like some freaky video of the heads of the actors that are going to be in this game just shouting nonsense pretty much. So it's very weird. Kojima has a very unique style, and he used to work for Konami, who are the rights holders and the publisher of the Silent Hill series. And before he left the company, he was working on Silent Hills, which was to be the next game in the Silent Hill series. Of course, he had a falling out with Konami. The project was scrapped. And then now we have Silent Hill projects that are being worked on by other development studios that are currently in the works. So, there's little information about this OD game, but it's got a creepy vibe based off this trailer. And a lot of people have been noticing little nods to Silent Hill in this reveal, such as the fact that when Kojima came out to talk about this game, he came out of a doorway that looked very similar to the first doorway you see in the Silent Hills playable trailer that released back when that Silent Hills game was actually in production. And apparently Udo Kier, the actor that's going to be in this game, if you look closely at his mouth, the letters ATAMI are spelled out. Which ATAMI...
It says a city in the Japanese prefecture. Essentially, it loosely translates to Silent Hill.
So this is suspected by some to be the source of the inspiration for the town in the original 1999 PlayStation horror title Silent Hill. And then someone else mentioned that there's a quick shot of an MRI scan of a brain in the OD trailer, which is similar to the brightness slider in the menu settings of the playable trailer of Silent Hills.
Wow, that's pretty impressive for people to really pull that one out.
Yeah, so it's always hard to say with Kojima because he does intentionally hide these Easter eggs, but there's also, and he's very crafty about it, but there also are people who, like with anything on the internet, look way deeper into it and find things that aren't actually there. So it's hard to discern what is an actual Easter egg and what is just a stretch that someone's trying to make a connection for.
I think my overall thoughts on this is that I just hope that this game is a horror game. As much as I think Death Stranding is super cool, I've actually not played through it, but I've watched plenty of it to know what it is, and I will eventually get to it. I really want Kojima to take another swing at horror, because that's just, he's very good at it. And go ahead.
Yeah, and all signs are pointing to that being the case, because he's partnering up with Jordan Peele to work on this game, who, even though Jordan Peele, he does a lot of genres, but lately he's been on a horror kick. So I have a feeling the two of them together, yes, are going to try to dive into something scary, which would be amazing because I like when Kojima does go horror, he does an amazing job at it. And Jordan Peele, man, he's on point with his own signature style of horror. So I think this could be a really strange and quirky game. And I'm all for this. Both those guys are all about experimentation and trying new and different things. And we were talking about Fortnite and all those other games. I'm sure all those are fantastic and a lot of fun, but it seems like they're trying to just make the best of the current trends. Whereas Kojima is not afraid to take risks, not afraid to just go out there into just some weird stuff. And that's what I love. Like, it's hard to be original. Very hard to be original as an artist. But when you are, you may not always hit the mark, but at least you're out there trying to find a different mark. And when you do hit it, sometimes it can be something truly magical and incredible. and then next thing you know, everybody's trying to replicate it.
Yeah, I mean, with all the games in the world and everything being released, it's nice when it's nice and it's refreshing when something brand new that you could just tell somebody took a major swing and just has a ton of creativity. And if anybody can do it, it's Kojima. So yeah, I'm also really pumped for this. I know it probably won't come out for a while. Also think it's cool that he's partnering with Xbox on this one. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be an Xbox exclusive game as well, which that's pretty new with Kojima. He's not been one to actually work with Xbox at all, like in the past. I know. So Death Stranding is not on Xbox, so it'll be interesting to with that little layer on as well. We might be able to get it day one on Game Pass.
You read my mind. All right, man. Next up, it is the end of the year, which means, speaking of trends, all of these applications nowadays have this trend of doing like year in review or end of year wrapped review or whatever it is, where whatever platform you're on, whether it be Spotify or Xbox in this case, goes through all your data that they've collected from you using it and tell you what you did. What was your favorite this? What did you spend the most time in? How do you rank up compared to other people? Which I'm loving these things. I love my Spotify Wrapped. It's so cool. But at the same time, it's unnerving how every little thing we do on these platforms is being recorded and tracked. Anyway, before I dive into a whole rabbit hole about how everything we do is constantly being monitored, I sound like an old man, but back in my day, when you were playing a PlayStation 2 in your room, the only person who knew you were playing that PlayStation 2 was you or maybe your buddy who was playing it with you. But nowadays, Microsoft, Sony, Spotify, YouTube, they know everything you do. Which they have their own reasons for collecting that data, but it's also nice for our own personal histories to reflect on how we spent the year on these platforms. So Mitch, you got your year in review for 2023 for your Xbox account, and you're ready to share this with everyone. And I have to say, these are some impressive, incredible stats. So let's dive in.
Impressive, incredible, and a tad embarrassing at some points, just for the sheer fact of how much time I put into video games in 2023. I will say, though, to defend myself just a tad, if I even need to defend myself, Xbox is my main platform. It is what I play majority of my single-player experiences, including those really long RPGs and Japanese RPGs. So, with the preface of that, let's dive into the couple of screen grabs we got here in my review. So what part do we want to go through first, Mike? So I guess to start, my total amount of time on my Xbox, which, I mean, that could also be me maybe watching TV on it, because I do watch all my stuff through that as well. But at 1,037 hours total of time on in 2023. I'm really hoping that also encompasses me watching live TV or TV shows or stuff like that, and not just playing games.
Hold on, did we figure out what that is in days?
We have not. Let's take
that
a
is
look.
40 over 43 days. 43 non-stop days out of the year. So more than a 12th of the year would you spend an Xbox. And I'm not talking about while you're awake, like literally 24-hour days. 43 you spent jamming on your Xbox.
Yep, again, hoping that's maybe, because there's sometimes I leave it on during work, and while I'm, bouncing back and forth, maybe have a slow day, and I'm like, oh, I'll get back on here in a little while and leave it on. I'm hoping that factors into that equation. because yeah, it is a lot of time. But I mean, when the months get cold here in Chicago, sometimes there's nothing to do but cozy up and get on the box and play some games.
Yeah. I do want to quickly go over the game breakdown. So it says you played a
Yeah.
total of 67 games this year. Wow. That is quite a library of games to be playing. And then it has a nice little pie chart. 32% were sports games. That seems to be your most played genre. 31% were action and adventure. 25% were role playing. Only 5% were shooters. And then 7% were other. I would have assumed that role playing would have been first, and then action adventure, because sometimes those games overlap, and then sports. So did you play that many different sports games, or is it that you just spent the most time in specifically a few sports games?
Yeah, I want to say I'm gonna guess majority of my time was only on one sports game. My buddies and I, every year MLB The Show lately has ported over to Xbox, and they put it on Game Pass day one every year. So my buddies and I sink a lot of time into MLB The Show. I am a huge baseball fan. My friends are huge baseball fans. They actually introduced a mode where you can do 3 versus 3 competitive on MLB The Show. So I get my competitive side out. I get to play baseball with my friends. It's pretty exciting. Like it's one of my favorite times a year when a new MLB The Show comes out. I probably played a little bit of NBA 2K during that time, but this year, as I've just complained about, talking about Fortnite and their potential sports game, I did not buy any sports game this year. I got MLB The Show from Game Pass, and then I did not buy Madden. I did not buy 2K. I did not buy FIFA. And there are some times where I would buy all 3 of those and play all 3, but lately I have been getting fatigued from them just repeating the same process over and over again. So, yeah, I think the majority of my that pie chart of sports game went into MLB The Show.
Nice. And just looking at the few snippets of games they've showed you played, yeah, it's a very varied collection of games. Like, you really jump from genre to genre and try a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I went from, the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition that I just finished recently that you have talked about on the pod. You hyped it up and it did not disappoint. I've went back and played Master Chief Collection because obviously I'm a big Halo fan. Played some Texas Chainsaw Massacre with my friends as like a Dead by Daylight style 3 versus 1 type game, 4 versus 1. And then, of course, my JRPGs of Chained Echoes, Ni no Kuni, Yakuza 4 right there you can see, or 5. And then we've talked about Hogwarts Legacy as well as a popular one. So, yeah, I mean, if that thing kept going, though, it was just a variety of games. I like to spread it out and do different genres, different properties, just different everything. I like to just see it all as much as I can.
So this says your top gameplay month was April. Do you have an idea why that was? Was there a specific game that came out that month?
I think that's when MLB The Show came out, to be honest with you.
That's the game, man. Apparently, if that's 32% of your playtime and it came out that month, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right, so switching over to the next screenshot. This is interesting to me. Here's how you stack up with other players. Mitch, go ahead. Let them know how you compare to every other Xbox player.
Yeah, so the hours portion, I don't think I can defend myself on this portion, though. I am in the top 5% for hours played on the Xbox. I am in the top 5% for gamer score. For people that don't know, you can get gamer score by doing things within the games that you play. And then I'm in the top 5% of players in achievements unlocked. And that is essentially you get gamer score from the achievements unlocked, but they all have different amounts that you get depending on the achievement.
Yeah, let's really drive this home to everybody listening. You've played more hours, have a higher score, and unlocked more achievements than 95% of Xbox players. Period.
I feel like they need to send me some sort of medal or trophy or anything, like a gift card. Like, come on, I am the epitome of an Xbox fanboy. Apparently,
yes, you are literally their best customer. Dude, you are exactly their demographic for Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even take like something like that. Maybe you see my Mitch the Peach logo here that my brother graciously created for me. Like maybe even like a cool like gold border around that nobody else has. Like just even if it's just something subtle. Like I just want people to know that I'm doing work out here.
Dude, seriously. All right, so then it also breaks down some stats game by game. Of course, right back to MLB The Show. MLB The Show 23. You are in the top 5% of most active players on this game, and you have a total time played so far for the year 2023 of 316 hours, and you have a gamer score. You have unlocked or received a gamer score of 850 from this game out of a possible 1,000, and you've gotten 21 out of a possible 25 achievements.
I think the most impressive portion, I grinded for this rare achievement. It shows at the bottom, only 1.67% players have unlocked that achievement.
Yeah, wow. All right, next up is Starfield. Total time played 74 hours. When we were talking about Starfield, you gave the impression that you were just casually playing this game. Like, I thought maybe you sunk 15, 20 hours in it.
Dude, I was shocked to see this when I saw this. I didn't. The time just went by. I guess I don't remember putting this many hours into it.
Yeah, you are in the top 20% of most active players on Starfield. So you're a serious Starfield player.
And the thing is, like, I liked Starfield. Don't get me wrong. I've talked about my affinity toward it and how much I think while people are hating on it, I enjoyed my time with it. But I didn't think I enjoyed it this much where I put this much time into it. So. I mean, I guess props to Bethesda for just, creating a time suck where I can just, I lose track as I'm going through space here.
So the third one that they've highlighted is Chained Echoes, which you talked about on a previous episode. You have a total time played of 67 hours, and you are again in the top 5% of most active players for this game.
In this one, I want everybody to play Chained Echoes because it is so freaking good. It is a classic JRPG with classic JRPG elements, but they also put their own cool spin on it. The art style is amazing. I will hype this game up till the end of time. It was fantastic. It is falling off Game Pass at the end of the month, unfortunately, but I'm glad I got to it before it fell off.
Nice. Well, great year in review on your Xbox. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about your immense achievements when it comes to being an Xbox player?
I also play on my PC quite a bit, so that's a problem that I think I have way too much time on my hands. But
yes,
I always justify it by saying I'm doing it for the pod. So,
yes, absolutely. So that means, yes, this total time of 1,037 hours is not everything. Because like you said, you're also playing PC games too, which is not included in this hours. Dang.
That's why I am single. I live with my cat. I have no responsibilities.
It's a chill life, man. It's a chill life.
Hey, it's a chill life. It's a good life.
Indeed. All right, man. That should do it. We didn't have any other topics I forgot about, did we? Okay, good.
Nope, that was it.
We got it all in this episode then. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. You can find all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Where else can we be found, Mitch?
Our Twitter is at Hills Are Silent. Instagram is Hills Are Silent. Our TikTok is at The Hills Are Silent Podcast. And our YouTube again is at The Hills Are Silent. Questions, comments, anything at all, email inbox, hillsaresilent@gmail.com. You can catch us on the next episode.